Hello future tech leaders, I'm Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Access to her stellar record. Alright, got it, go ahead, sorry. Yeah, very good. Thank you, Adam, for reminding us to record the session. Yeah, it's really helpful, especially I know it from now on is gonna be more, even healthier and helpful. And I have to listen couple times what we talked about, and actually second time of listening I understand more than what I understood the first time. Yeah, totally, yeah. Also, I'm thankful to have you thankful to have you as an instructor as well. So far in the data, we discussed just a basic syntax, right? Yeah, but this is very important. So hope you can able to do this challenge. 565, this challenge very simple. Is the output they want us to create. So here we need to know, feel this thing, we need to give you a question. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. So it's, I got it. Yeah. Yep. So the first one is that dot. Then do. If you do ID, you only get the first two. Let's do an ID. Yeah, I think you see you do like, and 1 second. You do like. Dot, yeah. So I got the same period on that ID, means it returns the ID at different levels. That's right. And second one, multi-level much a multi-value. Multi-level, it returns. One and level only the first level. Then, yeah, so I have a question. So, the outcome that I don't know, they want. Okay, they want us to create this output, right? So the descendant, a multi-value, all that's a level. Yeah, it's label. Yeah, so we could do. Yeah, I could do multi-value. Then we say 1 second. And then we say how to get the phone. You must ever, yeah. Then you say, and do you know idea? Think and I know dot star ID. Bars are in a tendency things on the one level, basically the first level. Before it's not sorry. So if it's one level with one dot, we'll do the work. If it's to level down, we do. and that ID is only gonna find any word that has an ID with the first matching one. See here with ID. There are multiple things with idea that multiple items match it. But what's the matching? I already was for that level, so in the first one. Okay. If we say that ID is gonna grab the first level ID exactly, if we say and payload dot start ID is gonna go in first. Yeah, first IDs. Yeah, first level IDs. Yeah, all IDs in the first. Okay, because it has one, because he has a one dot. Got it? And the second level. I want to get second level. Multi-value second level too. Right? Oh yeah, so then dot dot ID. Payload. Dot ID to another dot, same as first one, right? I want to move to the second level first. Second level. I want to move to the, this level, this level. How can you payload dot? Second. Yeah, so I said, so it's like, so we do second level with them. We do that dot star. Second level. That dot star is it. I remove that part, so payload dot dot star. Everything, right? That is not thing. First, I need to move to the payload. Second level. Or you say, okay. So your payload, that second level, that yeah, then that dot ID. First, okay, then you say star, I'm sorry, then dot star ID. To get everything, all the ID in the second level. Yeah, oh no, it's becoming clear now. Alright, that's good. This is what I'm gonna say. Don't help me. And third level, we just want to introduce a third level, right? Yeah, so payload, then you do third level actually. Why do you go second level? Done so level. At second level, the third level, I go to third level. So second. So third level is in second level. Yeah, okay. So second level dot third level. Then you say dot star ID. Star ID. So this time we're gonna do payload that. You know that star. Excellent. So I have a question. So the first one. The first IDs are on the top, the second ID, second level. Is the same level, okay? Same level as the top IDs. But so the third level is inside the second level. Yeah, that's what we're going to second level dot. Third level. Okay, got it. You know, I read I can see this could be helpful down the road. You know when, how do you know? What do you guys call that? That notation? Because is that what you guys call? There's another system I use call a service now. Yeah, it's a ticketing system. Exactly, I know. Yeah, and service now has something like this where it's called. It's about that notation. Yeah. So here some questions are, does the descendant selected select all the keys are just the first one in the nested object? That is, the descent sector means it's a dot dot. Dot dot is a written descendant selector. So that's let us select all. The keys are just the first one. The next object, right? But this answer is, it's not selecting all the keys. It's only the first one of the stop it in this first level, ID 1, second level, I need to go into our level 3, right? Therefore, below dot dot ID returns 1, 2, 3, right? We did that right. So I have a question, descendant. What is the descendants? Descendant means, see, second level is descendant to the first, your primary level. Probably is this into the second level, right? Take a little, or I see. Like a family. It's like a family tree, yeah. So that descendant is this one. Dot dot is a resident sector, right? Dot that is. Okay, this is an example. We've been able to select the items which are in the different levels. Okay, it's fetching the items at different levels, but it is fetching only the first matching one. Yeah. Does the descendant selector select all the keys are just the first one in the nested object? Even ID is there. You know, in second our ID to user ID. But is certain only first one right ID too? Yeah, so that's the answer is. It is selecting only the first one. Okay, that's the multi-value selector. Select the keys on next levels of object. Multi-value is dot star, actually is multi-value. The value is selecting keys, only the first level, only right. Yeah, I'll start with you guys. Only first level. Second level dot star means on. Second level him. Not going to the descendants, right? So the multivariate selectors selects only key on the same level, not on the next levels. What happens if we combine both descendant and multi-value selector? The one you do. It is the last thing. Yeah. Okay, its combination of descendant is dot dot and multi-value. If you do that, it will select all the keys, all the match. Yeah, whatever it is right. Okay, so that is the question. It returns all the hope, you guys. Yeah, I got it. I got it nice. I'll practice more, but I think I got it. Yeah, this multi-value is important. Range also important. How to set the range? Yeah. Going forward in the transformations, we use these sectors right at that moment. You don't confuse if you have idea about all. Yeah. We can declare variables like this. Where is the keyword? To declare a variable. Aspect is the name of the variable and match the value is the value of the variable, right? And this variable is different from the variable we declare in the pro level. Keep it open. So the level. We created a variable in flow, right? That is a flow level variable. That's right. This scope of this variable is only this. Okay, we can't access this variable inside the flow. Just for the name. Now the same exercise, the challenge we attempted right in previous thing. So what he's asking is the same exercise. Use the variable. Do you know these two values? We need to in touch you. The rest of things is there. These things, these two values using variable. We need to solve this. Okay, second level and third level. You need to get a variable and we need to give value instead of taking the payload. Use that variable. Yeah, so what do they want us to do? Store the value into variable. Yeah. I'm creating a variable called second. Okay, the second I'm storing. Second. Yeah, okay. What I want. What I want to achieve is a multi-value second level, just two. Start. I'm pitching all the values in second level. Yeah, so payload the second level. And when you print in here, you say second because the fit does the and variable that we define, that ed. Correct? So this one then will only display. They only display the idea on the second level. So no payload at second, only equal to second. So yeah, using non-star ID, there is to a little bit, right? So what is the output right now? This output or a color, or do you call a multi second level? So it brings it to, yeah, that's what I thought it's gonna print. Only the 22 and 22 because you only got one dot. Yeah, only one dot. Yeah. Now the multi part level is the multi value third level. Right, yeah. What do you want to do? Like when I display third level. So okay, you do. Then you do second dot. Can we do second dot? Then we say third level, yeah. Then that star ID, excellent, fantastic. So now it returns all the items with our level dot star ID mix, right? So that, yeah, free and 3, all said that is a 3. Got that guy? Alright, now they want all the levels. Yeah, it is the point is we are using variables. It's a declaration of variable and we're calling that variable using some name on directly. We can. Yeah, do you know? The funny thing is that interesting is that you use the variable but also you. Like expanding what you and what do you store the variable? It's like almost like a payload there. But it's called, right? It has a scope. Yeah. So let's go last one. So they want us to do all the IDs. So then the R variable only covers the second and low and below. So that means it doesn't have the first. It doesn't have a descendant, and if you want to, when you create another new variable, just payload. What I'm doing. That is also fine. Yeah, right. Is that star ID? So different a number of variables. Variables can create like this and store. I like a better name. Right? You can see amount. 20. It's a bigger variable, so you can stressing variables. Who can store no Boolean variables, okay. Person equal to we can. This means object. So you can create a normal variable array, air and you know array and also object. How this variable is a kind of object, very not in detail, right? Yeah, I get something like something. But person not named. Adam, yeah. Person that name. Yeah, so I have a question and you said and I agree and I understand that we have to create all the variables in the header. Yeah, and before the separator. And so at times when you're doing an manipulations, right? When you're processing or transforming and a payload, yeah. And like somewhere in the middle. You want to store that variable, that information to a variable. So are you saying then before, like someone, like you can have a for each or while whatever to process? Some information is, and when you get the value, you want to store that into variable, and that variable could be inside of the body. And so are you saying in data we find out either using that non-notational or whatever that is possible and get that information upfront in the header. Don't use any variables inside the body. No, we don't use in that case. We define some functions over here, okay. We have the concept of function definition. Yeah, right. In the function definition, we can assign to the variables with some create some, fun looping or whatever we do to that as variables. But definition we can't do inside the body, but we can do assignment to the variables in the body. So, for example, like here, like, okay, let's say that and all the descendants IDs, if you want to restore that store that into variable. All the descendant IDs you want. Yeah, beat it. Yeah, the first one for some of the descendant. Payload it, right? You just want to keep track that ID. And you put that in a variable, but I guess you can also do that in on the top. Yeah. That's fine. I was thinking in all the programming, in all the script and programming we have done. And it's good if you know what, and if you know what is what you're gonna keep on that variable. It's when you store that variable, then you declare it on the top. I understand that. I do that all the time. But sometimes the value you want to store, it's very deep inside. Script right somewhere. You don't know for something, you wanna run a query. You get some output from that query and then you check some conditions. And if that condition exists, you want to store that into variable. So that's very deep inside the body of the script, and that information you don't know it when you start in the script. So the idea that DataWeave says that we have to declare all the variables on the top, and I don't know. I was thinking that, and if you're using like this, like that notation, that kind of stuff in the payload, I think might be doable. But if you're doing more complex scripting, there are times that you don't know the value of that variable until you get to that level. You have idea of the functional programming. This is like a subroutine, right? Or something like that. Yeah, function programming. Yeah. In function programming, the variables. We can assign you methods for variables. So usually, in non-functional programming, in the variables, we store the things like strings, integers, booleans, this object, right? Okay, yeah. The function programming, we can store methods also in its variables. The methods also. So Java from 8.0, what's in the function programming language, whereas before it you can't store the methods inside the variable. So here also let me tell one simple example at. Here in the script, writer can do something like this. Go. Don't get it's comfortable to me to discuss about the variables. I can return like this you. Yeah, I think you know. Each week. We can you know when we get to that level. We'll discuss. I think that's okay. Sorry to ask you because I was thinking about that. I see it has to ask. That has to be way too. And later to you know to use a variable inside the script. But I think when we get to the level, will you show me or we'll discuss? Sure, Adam, we'll discuss that one. Excellent, thank you. That's good. These are logical operators, similarly like any other program, like there are some greater than, smaller than, greater than, equal to, smaller than, equal to, similar to, not equal. Not logical negation. Yeah, the same and we are. These are all almost same. You can find any programming language. That's right. So here this thing is use operator return true. The name of the name field of the input is Max. Very simple. Imagine. So you say right now where the payload name equal to Max. Simple. Only you know about the what is different operators available for this list and practice according. You can do your challenge right. Go to this and try to the challenge. Yes, you are not able to. Okay, sounds good. This is the interesting one. If else is like any of the other program, which yeah condition or else condition. You see your action. It's very actually right. What is very good story? Very good story. This expression, wow. Then the payload. That price is less than 100 by Ellis Hoard. Was interesting. Okay, and the action is key, right? In a payload. The value for this action and view, this method. Okay, nice. So yeah, I'm getting value as a holder. I am getting value of old. Actually, you know that price is 150. Right, okay, yeah. So I have a question. This is it's interesting. So what is that? And so can you go? Maybe scroll down on the middle section. Yeah, so I want to see where that, and so this, okay, I don't know, I'm not sure how to ask this anyway, and this okay. So you have a JSON. Is this a JSON? Yeah, price, payload price. Yeah, okay, that's input. Okay. So what I want to know is that how does he know that when it gets to action, the action it becomes? That the action has to go. Let me copy this. Whatever. Yeah, so I don't know how. All I know, how is it? How does it get called? And to evaluate that. So this is this. I'm passing input to the script, right? Okay. Yeah. So the entire thing is payload this payload, right? Yeah, this is okay. Yeah. Okay. So price is equal to price, the payload, the price. Yeah, yeah. Just we're gonna get executed. Now what is the variable value if payload dot price is less than 100? But payload of price is 20. It is not yet. So go to the else section and it ends up all day. Alright, so chronologically orderly, you got input 120. Yeah, and then are you? Is the if statement happening before the it gets the body or first things come to the body? First that one. Yeah. So okay, so we create a variable action on the fly and we saying that if the payload that price is less than 100 and by so ls hold so action variable it is only gonna store word by a hold. Exactly. And then it comes down here and price will be mapped to payload the price whatever that price was an action. It will be mapped to the variable action which either gonna have a buy or sell by a hold. Okay, so that thing get calculated way before the body got it now because I was thinking other way around where this action and the body is calling like you like. Remember the function thing you were talking about? I thought might be scoring. But this is just a variable, yeah. Interesting, The other thing is that how they normally a normal code script I know is that we save the payload that price equal less than 100, then we create that variable say that then action equal to buy or ls action equal to hold. But this one is a little bit slick here where if the condition is that then you say by ls hold. Yeah, very interesting. Excellent, thanks for explaining. Now I know I understand. Not that support. The first condition, here even the focus, is to put how to do an expression because expression here else is mandatory. in a field sometimes. In other programming languages, else is not matter, only if and the condition which matches you did it. Sometimes we different, which is optional in some programming language. But okay, you remove it. That's one point you need to keep note. Okay, so you're saying that Alice is required. Even you are conditioning, only you know it's less than 100 by if not is an 100. You don't want to clear before. You want to create some empty spaces, but even you also need to define that. Else is mandatory in this condition in the database. Right for the next section. Let's come from defense is correct because very similar, yeah. Something like this, wow, pattern matching. This is really, yeah. Okay, including new cell option selection in our example when price exceeds one part. You to tell you this. Okay, it will sell up. Okay, you gotta sell it 1-1. It succeeds Ln 40. Yeah, okay. So we say, can we modify that? Yeah, so we say that if, and we'll say that if the price exceeds. So if the price is, yeah, so you can say if the price greater than 140. So yes, you see, here we focus on this one also this year. Expression 1, it is returns true. So this will get executed. If written, you can put one more condition. Okay. Then we say Alice, if right. At the end, yeah, Alice, if. Now Alice, if payload that price. Is greater. And then we sit. Then we say sell right. Then we say that yeah. But this expression looks like yeah. Right, yeah. Let's see if also you can use. Coming to these pattern matches. Yeah. The same thing in whatever we achieve in as C using in simple connection using pattern option also C. Input expression that matches this condition. Because this one. Thereby second condition. It is the second day, second the same thing. You're dropped over here. You know, dot action, something action. I will send any food. What action should be? I'm sending by either a write payload action. What case? This case by initial. In this example, this matching, so it returns by at the market price. Right? So I got out that better marketer because so much for a cell select market price holder. Very simple, right? Actually, so much I understand. Sorry, and pattern match like a regular expression thing, right? Yeah, so input, okay, input expression. So you say payload that action. Then you do cases. Yeah. Case by case cell case hold. If it's case by, you'll print, by a market price. If it's continuous cell, it will say sell the market price. And Alice invalid input. Okay, so this one it has a pie. Alright. If it contains a word, write the word by. Okay. Don't. Let me say case is 0, 0. And if it's 0, you use. Then you say that if it's 0, it says light off, light off. Is it 0 to light off? When yeah, it is 0. Input is 0. So light off. And light on when it is 1, 1. You can practice different examples. Practice this example. Let me know if you have an issue in practicing this example. Okay, I saw the simple one and I think some complex. Yes. In the same thing, you can use the equation pattern matching is the example. The solid and again using pattern matching also. All the problem right, okay. Definitely next is very important functions. So functions are DataWeave the most important tools. They allow us to conveniently reuse functionality and create function and apply when the use is necessary. So in this section we cover about the topics of the functions. So DataWeave, the name functions lambdas. Is this the one that the cloud stuff? Yeah, lambda. I know lambda, but I heard about lambda, but not lambdas. Yeah, that lambda means unknown. Unnamed functions. The home information I was suddenly a bit about the ABOS and there's A. There's something called a lambda. I'm thinking it's different. Passing functions to other functions, yeah. One function as an argument to the other function, yeah. We see in this while discussing, we understand. I can't explain this one with example. You can discuss this. Is also very, very important. We're going deeper and complex things. For name functions, they were functioning since a function with a name. Right, see, common is a keyword to declare function. One is a keyword like variables, we use a var, right? Similarly, fun is a keyword to declare functions. Oh, function. Adding function name, their first name, function, and here the two parameters and positive, this function one is nm, right? And what is that is written and pressure, right? So in the body I am calling that function and passing one into as a parameters. One go to len and two to m. Init ends one test unit or test. Very basic, very simple function, yeah. It's a name function. Yeah, if it's a function name and takes one argument and when the function spans multiple lines. We use the keyword can't do. Yes. This is no. The function value is only one line, right, and place a moon, but not. There are multiple numbers, not the function. Body function doesn't have what it said. Want to do multiple things, then it is. Yeah, you see, a function doesn't have a body. Only one line of expression is value of the function, right? Okay. Don't know what we'll see more, but I was thinking that the function is like a separate, unique. You could have a lot of other things going on, like a calculation is, or might be going after another, I don't know. In normal functions I do my own function, especially in PowerShell. You know I pass some information is, and then it makes another call and grabs the information and then makes calculation. The returns back. I don't know, but this one. It might be. It's different, so I'll watch. So you saying that he has to be in the header, and he has to. It doesn't have a body. Body, but see this body is even line expression. Oh, yeah, for this case. Yeah, in this case, in your expression is equal to. I can put similar question. This is a body, right? It doesn't spans in multiple lines. Yeah, so if you have such requirement, you do with the do, function with the do, and you can. If you put to do keyword, you can open the curly braces. Open it and I see function. If now it spans this multiple lines, right? Yeah, so to define that we need to use a keyword do and do also. It's like this notation. It is some like in the function C. In the do I can declare two more variables. These two variables are local to this function. Okay, so if you observe this one, let me open to discussing more elaborately. Let me copy this thing, the playground. So that we can discuss. What's the input? Here, I'm not taking anything from the payload. Therefore, there is no source. What if it taking only one variable, that is n, so I'm passing this entire array right to the as a value of n. Alright, so n is replaced by the entire array. Good. Now, inside this function body, I'm creating two variables, variable start variables that takes the first element of the array and not 0. That is 1990. Right. Variable and it takes -1. I think yesterday we discussed, right? And the array indexes start from 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and go back from back to First -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So -1 taking the last one, right? Okay, so 1990 is start and end is. Then n minus start 2021 minus 1990 returns value as 31. Right. The entire thing. I define a function depth, so only thing we need to focus is here. The depth function takes the entire thing body, and that body contains the two variables. So these variables are not visible to outside. If I put something like no start, I thought, because this thought is not at the variable defined at the level, right? This level is the now at a level, but this variable is local to this function. Right. So this is a point you need to keep in mind. When I want to define the variables, those are the stuff I can use this. I want to go through this stuff again. Yeah, I have one quick question. Can you go back to the playground? And so yeah, maybe go. Yeah, maybe put the diff or a few months. Yeah, just numbers. So, alright, this one equal to 10, write 90 and that or an okay. And yeah, that's fine. 100 minus 9 stand and this one right now is a playground. It shows you turn right. But what is that? It was that becomes a payload or you can assign to a variable. Which one does? Then the answer. This is payload of excluding this data. We stripped. I know, but normally you will store that in a variable, don't you? Will you return to or you return that to a function? You want to store in a variable. In that case, yeah. You can return back to the function, right? And where that call the function you want. I can do what I can do. I can say look a result. Yeah, it's where I can, There's two words, your difference. If it's something, maybe spinning is not right. I can capture that in a field. I think it's good. It's good. That's all I want to know. So in this case, and it's subtracted and the difference become the answer exactly. It doesn't use like a return or something like that. In the function. In some other language, when you're returning the value back to the caller, and you say you use a word return. But I was thinking, that's good, I know, And now I understand the functions and also understand that if I want to do some calculations, I have to use a do function. Do I hear your doubts that we put the keys in any point studio so that we won't use this background in our, in application development just to practice our data view? This is the right platform. Yeah, so we can all be on the fly. We can do the stripping on the fly. We can see the result of our code. That's right, that's right, that's right. That purpose we use the playground. Okay, what is the written? Where we are storing the result value, how we are using this kind of code in our application. But that we need to do is the same thing in any point studio. Yeah, I do one simple, simple data view script in any function so that you are those who clear. Open that one, any punch, to do a simple example in any function. This is also important that I just open by the point students open. So, and while this one's open, and Ganesh and. So right now we're doing transformation and we learn in DataWeave. We're going through the on this area. I really like it because this is something we need to do, want to be transforming and message our data. So what are those big topics we have left? I'm just curious when we can start. Like you seen last time, we can start a small project that touches everything. After this transformation, I will discuss about the computing database, maybe and messaging servers and the file systems. How to talk to the databases, how to talk to JMS server, how to talk to the files of extract files. The database of file systems. JMS.js file system Salesforce. So to talk to external systems. Country to sum. Existence and accessing information and sending results to examine external systems like the database messaging. So yeah, so after that we can do projects. Yeah. Okay. Take a use case and we can do that. But now we do have idea of how to come to the external system and how to do the transformation in the view. Yeah, nice. Nice. Cannot wait with that. We do a small project that touches all the area and then expand down. That means like you have an idea of choice, right? Choice in. So again, choice, yeah. Just right. Yeah, what a route choice, right? So to me, it's like a decision and decision. Yeah, so we do. Configure some condition over here. Yeah, DataWeave statement. We define one condition or other part. It is satisfies the file system. Yeah, like something like we can develop the router. Yeah, this one next boom. We can do that. The same time, we need to focus on a bit development and API, that also design. Also, if a design, usually it won't take this much time. Yeah, I know. Feel it? A platform is not a spoon. Oh, both of this. Neighborhood functions again. Anyway, we will do this thing, you know. Any point should be also. As this is little confusing is lambdas. Lambdas are the functions without names. There is no name to lambda function. See, I can even this is data. You provides multiple ways to create functions. Just like we have a name of functions, we have functions with both names for numbers. Lambda is a value. It data view just like a string and object a boolean. The syntax of lambda is to plug. This time no. Body without a function name, see simple body, some not mix. Right? Some something. Argument is not about argument, least without the function name. Yeah. Okay, what is saying? Two plus three. Okay, let me copy this thing. It's a name function, right? Add is equal to, yeah. 2 and 3. And you say turn 3, but they're equal to n plus 3. That's lambdas. It's like a function. This is a function. There is no name to the function. Therefore, we cannot say this function to a variable. It's function because it was add 2 and 3 and then add goes to the function. Okay, got it. So you say alright. So add to 1. We are assigning a function to a variable. So like I said earlier, we can store functions inside the variable. Languages. Usually for variables, we can say the strings integers, right? Okay. So here we can assign a function to a variable. So this has method, right? This method, I must take the variable. Add is a variable, I must take the function. Now add will work as a function. Right. What is the function? The function has no name. Is it lambda actually? You know what it? Like I got it, but it looks like I created a simple application. Okay. So the function, the application name is basic transformation. Alright, for now what my intention is. Let me go through these examples. For the database examples, these examples you can copy to the playground and you can edit it. I'll show you how to use examples and very simple transformation. I'll take this one XY to JSON. So see over here, this is a database script. See input, XME input payload, and this is output. Output. We don't bother output. We need to generate using the database script, right? So I want to exclude this thing in my application. I will send from the input postman. I will send this input. I will expect this output. My application need to transform this input to this output. That is my actual activity. So to get the information of postman, I am configuring the default configuration. My function is focus on the transformation. Here the interesting part comes. So in our application, to exclude the database script, we have a component called transform message component, right? This component is used to exclude the database script. We define the database script inside this transform message component. If you open the transform message component, this is a transform message component and you have the input. This is a input section. It's a script section. Output, don't bother about output. I'll tell you about output section. In the script section, I will write the database code. So I'm copying the database code from here. Paste in the script section. We have to have an input, though yeah. Now I'm just running this application. I want to tell you more about the transform message components. It's very, very important component. Most important component in Mule. So there's so much to discuss about this component. Database multiple. Places to use this component. I'll tell you once we discuss it. Oh yeah, definitely. You're right. This is the magic thing, right? This is what Mule is good for, right? Transforming one message to another message. Yeah. But do you run this program without input? I'm not sure. Exactly. We can configure the input also, that I will show you how to configure the input of the component. So the thing we are doing in the playground, right? The thing we can do over here also using transform message component, but it is slow. Okay, so we need more time to generate the output. Oh, it is very fast and very effective. In practice, I recommend the playground. Let me see if I explain. I have issued a tool. I deployed some server with the same 8L81 port. So probably 8 or 81 is not working for me. Oh yeah. So it started. So let me open that's a postman. Local data to 81. I use the path as a basic and the post method the body. And the XML as my input. What input I'm sending is I see now that's your input now. I got this as an output. So my new application takes this XML and transforms and returns this JSON file. This one has sent as a payload to the application. So this is that payload is given to this transform message. Right. The transform message. Transform. It's going to store on the payload. And check that's this one right. A similar thing if you want to execute on the playground. Go to the playground once. I recommend before putting the code in I recommend to put there. Whatever the code you practice in the playground is working. Good, then remove the transform message component. Put the playground and the input section of the MySQL. My input is XML. Copy that input. What's the script we're going to execute? Copy the code. Return the code. So we got output right. Similar thing we achieved actually. The question is, we achieved that output right. Okay. So, now we can analyze how how this code that I just executed, the entire thing is payload. Payload order product. Payload order buyer. So buyer is the child of order, right? So this one right. So that's it. This is self-explanatory, right, Adam? Hello. Adam, you there? Yeah, I'm here. So you're right, it's self-explanatory. So address one is a kind of variable, right? Field, yeah. It's a label, yeah. Yeah. And you put payload order buyer address. Address one city content, their output fields. How we are getting the value for this output fields? Output fields are for city. How do you get the value of city? I'm getting a cent. How are we getting this value? I'm getting value from the input. How are we getting input? Payload. Order by city. But I understand everything from the buyer and that's all the blow. But the address one city, county, email. Those are just a label. Yes, they're labels, output fields. This is the fields we want in the output. right? We're interested on this field. Yeah, okay. Therefore, how we are fetching value for these fields? They are from the input. So now, the transform message payload. Actually, this playground is introduced by Mule nearly 1 year ago. Before 1 year, there is no playground. Everything we do is transform. 1 year, yeah. So people are struggling with the transform message. So they provided this playground so that we can easily, we can easily see the things right. So before that, how we do is, there is something like here a define metadata word. You create some sample input. So yeah, you have a sample and you import a sample, right? You put sample, I put file. Store file names. You don't have a dot there. I think you have a comma there. I store the input. Transform message component. Define metadata, I click on that. Set metadata. My input is email. I will sample in my example depending on one of the file in my so. Browser file example file. Resources. I think you have a comma. You don't have a dot in the file name. You can track that. That was quick. Usually it's very fast but time, so it is my. What is the order? XML ID. Oh. Now go to metadata. I click set metadata. The input is not seen. Input is not done. Using not seen one just for an example. Set that example. Resource. The order XML. Yeah. So once you set the order XML file, you can see the hierarchy got loaded right. This order. Like that one. So expand this transform message component. You can able to see the order got loaded over here, that XML. You know that structure, object, structure. Even you can see the preview section over here. You can see the preview, how the transformation happened. And what is the result of the transformation? Similar like playground, but it takes time to execute that script. See, playground is super fast, but it takes time. Even we changes the thing and we can see that how the script is executing. How is it is returning other stuff. See, we got output right, this output. So sometimes right, they will provide. Very rarely we have input and output. For example, we have input document and output document also. Sample output also. So in that case, what I can do is I create the output also. This has name. Something like output. So you create an output. Yeah, I'm creating output document, output file. JSON. I'm copying this output. Yeah. Alright. You have input document and output document. Okay. And in the transform message. For example, I'm creating this transform message. You wanna create mapping between this input and output. So I'm setting input document here. Select metadata. Sort. Select metadata. I'm going to output. I keep on this. Oh, that's what the output's for. Getting at. Output item getting. My output type is of JSON. Sem. It's depending on the source name, the name, and sources. Port. This is not so good. Sure, it'll yeah. Fortunately here my object is not loading completely. You can see the load. You can see the fields of output also. Then you can graphically map field to field. Oh, I'm sorry. I can say an example. What is some reason my output is not loading? Get metadata. This JSON, it is quite easy. We need not create a document also. So right click on this. There is some issue. This JSON is not compliant. We need to back this JSON to be compliant. Right click on this, okay? This is just a bit of data. That is about I'll tell you how to set this one, Adam. For some reason, my ID is not. Yeah, it's not cooperating. I see that. So, this transform is just component. What we can do is, we discuss the capability. So you can map it. The goal is to map right. Yeah, the goal is map from input to output. Graphically, we can map. Yeah. Drag and drop. We can map the fields. Input-output fields. So that we generate the data script. Oh, it will create a script for you. Yeah, exactly. But the condition is you need to have input and output samples ready in your hand. If you have the samples ready, you can configure it and we can map the fields and we generate the data script. So that's the story. Then what we can do is if your input is JSON. For example, let's see the example. Let me see, the input is JSON example. So I am giving this link in your. Go through this one. Data view examples. Go through these examples and execute these examples in your playground first. And then you can execute in your any transform research component. Here is my chart. I am seeing that it's a chart. Yeah, I think that chart. You can see this link. Yeah, see that. You can find different kinds of examples. Input for each example. They can provide input, output and script. All these three things. I recommend. Copy the script to the playground script section and input the input and output and see how the things are. It's a little complex. In the playground tutorial, the things are very simple. Yep. So these are little complex things. But it's very interesting. So it's good that if you have any questions, we discuss on them. Don't worry. Oh, sounds good. Right. So, a little. We discuss about this transform research component and we can come to the session. Alright. So the transformation component. You can come to the input. If you have a good example. For example, we have JSON data. We did not create a file also. We can edit sample data. We can put some JSON sample data over here, like this. Some sample data. If you have any JSON document over here. Now in the data view code, can do something like payload name. This is Jasmine. Yeah. So one thing you need to keep in mind that if you are transforming to XML, you need to take care of the root node. Always without root node, the XXML is not valid. Yes. And give personalized root node over here. If you give personalized, payload name it won't accept. It's not accepting. Okay, you're getting that, but always. You're only one thing. If you want to define inside, you need to. You need to do the root node over here. I can't define multiple things like this person name. And I want to do something like this won't accept. In case of XML. But the two fields, one field is not right. So it has to be. XML format. If you have always, you need to take a root node. See here you only want. Here I'm mapping only one value. So that person is okay, fine. But if you're mapping multiple values, for example here, it is like this person Adam equal to. Not assume this is your input. Okay, and this input I want to transform to XML. So here this thing I want to put inside a function. I'm sorry person XML. Person XL as root here person instead of person right. Person has a name. Person has a city. Designation. I want to put these three fields inside this person. So to define that, what we can do is open a curly brace. Now this curly brace, if you open this thing, this body, it creates the person tag. Opening closing tag. Inside this person, there are three fields out there, right? Now you can use the name field. It creates the first field. You want second field, city field, you can put here comma. 1 second line. And payload city. You want to do spelling mistake and payload. Or do you want to use a role here in the output, not in the designation? Payload design. Alright, see, you can do it here. So this I am creating using transformations component. Right. So using transformations component is there are similar multiple things we can discuss in transformation component. This is very important component. We can discuss that thing. And we move on to the next critical aspects of this program. This data. Alright? We will practice this other things. So far we discussed up to functions. Right. That's right. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.